Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here, and I have an Alliance War video for node 13 for the Masochism Indomitable node. I have all my fights from preseason and season 20. Feel free to check the description to skip around and the time codes to see a particular fight. But this first one up, we have Namor, and I believe in this one I brought Guillotine. This is a flow war, and I think I needed Guillotine for a later fight, and so I went in with the mindset that I needed to get her charged up, and man, I just parried and then went in for the attack, and I don't know if it was just super slow or what, but I got hit. It was really odd, but that's not a big deal. The one nice thing about Masochism is when you have a champ that somewhat frequently puts on a debuff, that can be helpful just because it allows you to get a parry stun in more reliably. So I don't really mind the fact that this Namor is shrugging off some of those degens. And then for this fight, you just got to be a little bit wary because Namor can reflect damage back. You can take some of that degen damage back. So just be aware of that. So if you get 3 stacks on, you might want to back up and just try to let those fall off. Otherwise, when you get attacked, you're going to take a little bit of chip damage. But I'm just playing this kind of slow and steady, and I'm going to end it with an L3 so I can convert and keep my charge for the next fight. So I can start with a 100 combo. But you can see I can just play this guy. You can do double parries as well. To get some easier openings, but while this fight is taking a little bit longer, it's not terrible. I don't think I died at all in the preseason or the season on this node, but some of these fights are a little bit more tricky, but the node in general isn't too terrible. Definitely something that you can play around. And then this is I'll let this play out. I'm gonna launch off that L3 with under 5% just to make sure that he does die. These guys don't have a ton of health, so I probably could have done it at a higher health percentage, but at 5% it's guaranteed a kill. So there I got Namor knocked down, got the charge, and I'll move on to another fight with that to use. But let's move on to the next fight that we had on this node, and it's going to be a Sinister, I think. Is your Sinister? And I believe this is an
interesting team last year.
Let's check. A lot of the earlier season stuff was flow. No, this was a stubborn. So the global doesn't come into play here. And here I'm going to use Torch. Could have used Warlock, but the one nice thing I like about Torch is you can predictably put incinerates on him, so you can kind of keep that masochism, and just in the background. I'm just going to charge. I'm just charging some heavies, keeping my temperature up, and he's going to throw his L1, boom. All those incinerates come back to me, which is good. You can see my smolder went up, which means the future incinerates are going to do more damage, and it's just going to keep piling up. So I'm trying to get as many incinerates on him as possible, and then him to throw his L1, and then boom, I'm up to 9 smolders. If he throws it again, he's not. Let's see, he's got 3, and I'm going to be up to 12, and so the damage just keeps ramping up. So even though he is regenning and the masochism is getting triggered here and there, this dude is going down. He's going down fast. Get to an L3, I'm gonna throw that. It's gonna activate the Nova Flame, and then he's really gonna melt because he's gonna be taking the power sting damage. And yeah, my smolders, I have 17, so that's pretty decent. You can see I didn't get any Nova Flames off on that, which was really unfortunate with the timing. Probably should have waited some, but that's right. Pretty much going to end this fight with almost full health, so it's really nice. You can pretty much get your parries in as much as you want because the incinerates just eat up the masochism. So I'm up to 23 smolders. Gonna charge, get my temperature going, and yeah, so this is going. It's going a little bit slower than I maybe originally had thought, but it's working. And you can see my incinerates are now doing like 500 tick with 30 smolders, and yeah, this guy's just about dead. And yeah, so this is a good option. Warlock would have been good too, but I'm pretty comfortable playing Torch, and this should kill him. Yep. So now Mr. Sinister is down, and we're gonna move on to the next fight, which is, let's see, Corvus. Yeah, so this is Corvus. This is a stubborn war, so Void is getting the perfect block chance passive buffs, so that does help with this fight, with, you know, the block damage that you might take when you're trying to do parries. You can do double parries to get those stuns. I'm gonna try the best I can to make sure that I can get as many intimidating prison debuffs on him as quickly as possible. That's gonna block the Masochism healing. It's going to do most of the damage slowly over time, and yeah, so you do not want to get hit on this dude because he's going to hit you pretty hard, so just be careful. Like, you go into parry, make sure that you realize you either going to need double parry or back off because of the Masochism. But I know I do get hit in this fight sometime soon. I do get Fear of the Void up, and where do I get hit? Sometime very, very soon, I believe. And I end up taking a pretty good chunk off, which basically is just going to cost me there. I was just kind of like really slow on my combo, it looked like. And then I get hit again. I'm like, ugh. But we're going to finish this guy off with a big L2, and Corvus is down, and I survived. Couple health pots to use for later. Next we got Magik. Now Magik is interesting placement here. I always have Torch, and Torch is just going to melt her. This is a stubborn war, so it doesn't have the extra power gain that you might see in like Flow. So here is the name of the game, is to just parry and block and then apply those incinerates, and she is just going to melt. I mean, look at this. I get to Nova Flame and boom, she is dead. 14 hits in an instant. Magik goes down. Pretty awesome. This next fight is another Mr. Sinister. In this fight, this is a Flow, so he's going to get the extra power gain. This time I'm going to use Warlock instead of Human Torch. And Warlock is also a Flow defender, so he's going to get those passive power drain, combat rate drain debuffs, which is going to help mitigate his power gain. And yeah, with Masochism, I'm just, name of the game here is just parry heavy. Gonna do a lot of bleed damage, and you know, if he throws that back at me on his L1, if he ever gets to it, which I don't think he does, Warlock's bleed immune, so it's not gonna really do anything. You see this guy is just melting. Hit him with an L2, boom, dead. So that wasn't too bad of a fight. Torch could have done that one as well. You just have to be really careful with the extra power gains that you might get from the critical hits with it being a Flow war. Next up we have a Proxima. Now Proxima is one of those champs that she is both an offensive and a defensive champ. So here we have, it's a stubborn, so she can get the indestructibles, which is fine. I'm using Void on this one. I also get the benefit from it being a stubborn with those perfect blocks. And yeah, so I'm just gonna try to time it to where I can get as many of those debuffs on as possible. Do double parries if needed. Proxima won't hit too hard if she doesn't have her missions completed. So yeah, there's really not too much on this fight. You could block the L1s. I'm pretty certain I just evade them because that's just how I normally would play her. And yeah, she's gonna go down. She's already more than halfway down, and slowly but surely those IP debuffs block off the heal and just slowly take away the damage. So yeah, this one's not too difficult to deal with. And you can see I'm at 96%, so I got a little bit of chip damage, but nothing too crazy. And Proxima's down. So this next one we got a Morningstar. Pretty sure I'd go in with Torch for this one. Torch, because his attacks are energy attacks, they won't trigger Morningstar's bleed. Could have used Symbiote Supreme, could have used Thing as well, but regardless, none of the champs that I have can get bled by Morningstar. Because she's a mystic, I mean, that's just like, please use Torch, melt me. That's what this fight is saying. And you can see you can just so quickly get those incinerates on. I got the Nova Flame, which is trying to bait out a special. She's being really stingy about it. There, she finally throws it, and boom, she's dead. Quick and easy fight for Torch. So that fight's done, and next up I believe is a Thing. Let's get this fight screen to go through. And here we go. Yeah, we got a Thing. So this is Masochism. And is this a Stubborn War or not? Let's see. Well, we'll find out soon enough. Can't remember. I think it might be. But again, Torch is a good option here just because you can keep hitting him with incinerates. Yep, definitely Stubborn. It's got that indestructible up. But I just like the fact that you can predictably and easily in your combo get that Masochism off to where you can get your parries in, do whatever, whatever fighting style you want to apply to this, you can basically do. Now, here I'm trying to block some specials, make sure I don't dex, and I push him over the rock stack limit, and now he's at 12. I hit him with an L3, gonna get some Nova Flame, but this is going to push him to, is it gonna push him to 13 or more? Yeah, it only counts as one hit towards the rock stacks. And unfortunately he doesn't throw off his special before the Nova Flames expire, so I don't get any extra like sting damage, and I get clipped right at the end because I tried going a little bit too quick. But this guy's going down pretty fast. Definitely would be a little bit harder if he was awakened. Be taking a little bit less damage here and there. But yeah, this is going pretty good, and boom, he's dead. So that one pretty clean. I know you can dex or get out of a special one without dexing and triggering the indestructible, but sometimes you can just block it. Whatever you got to do. Here we got a Sentinel. I believe this is also a Stubborn war, and I think I had gotten hit by, what was it? I think this is the war where I got tagged by a Voodoo earlier on. So I put some little health pots in, And for this Sentinel, I'm just going to try to block as much as the L1 as possible, because that's going to give me Smolder, and that's going to boost up my damage. And it's going to be able to take down this Sentinel fairly easy. You know, if we look at that, especially when you put on the Incinerates, the 5% Masochism regen is not significant at all. And then you have the Incinerates that have built-in Despair. I have max Despair, so you can just see this guy's just melting regardless. And he's almost down. And I get clipped by an L2, trying to get a little greedy, going in for some extra hits. And luckily I'm Incinerate immune, so I don't get hit with those Incinerates. But man, I just took another big chunk of health, so I took some chunk in the first and in that second fight. Unfortunate. Here we're going in against Kingpin. I believe I'm going in with Doom on this one. Put on some boost, 'cause I'm going to be hitting. I usually hit up a bunch of these fights all at once. I'm like, which champ do I use? I think this is a stubborn, so Kingpin, for whatever reason, is an offensive champ, even though he hits like a soft pillow. And you just got to be really careful for him shrugging off your stuns. You know, if it's like Doom, he might shrug off those shocks. So just gotta be careful trying to like chain your heavies with that passive stun, because that shock might wear off and you might not get it, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm just gonna rock this dude to an L3. I think I'm gonna cycle around to an L2 and burn him, and it's pretty much gonna nuke him. Come out. Do we get back? We don't. We just missed getting back to an L2. Throw another L1, steal his power again, and bait his L1. And then right here, oh, don't even get to an L2. He gets nuked. So not too bad. Now here we got a King Groot. Again, this is going to be a Doom fight. Stubborn War. King Groot is not a stubborn defender. He's an offensive, which is kind of weird. Both to me, Kingpin and King Groot, to me they should be labeled as defensive. But yeah, so pretty much got the class advantage. You know, just watch out. King Groot, he's going to have the Masochism that's going to be taken away, like stun debuffs. You have his Furies that can be taken away and consuming your stun debuff or any of the Incinerate debuffs. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to get to an L3, get my Fury up, and then try to smash this dude. This is only a rank, I think it was just a rank 1. Was trying to get him to get pushed to an L2, and I think I just abandoned that because he just keeps spamming the L1, which is fine. You know, ideally you get to an L3 when he's at 2 bars or higher, but you know, an L3 is going to still do a lot of damage, and you get that Fury up, and you can get back to an L2 and you still do a lot of damage outside of that. Not as much, but you still can do some good damage. And boom, we're just going to L1 him for the win. So King Groot is down. And next fight,
Okay.
who's up on this list? Is it a champion? Yes. Champion. Now this is a stubborn war, and champion is a defensive champ. But, you know, for Doom, he is an excellent counter, obviously. You can stagger him, you can nullify his buffs, and the champion, he has a easy special to not trigger the dexterity mastery on. So I don't think in this fight I actually trigger the indestructible much at all. Ooh, I do get parried there. Luckily, he didn't have any furies up, so his hits were kind of weak. Here I'm trying to build up to an L3 and push him over. I do, which basically means this dude is going to get toasted. So we hit the L3. We're going to do, I believe, a medium, light, medium into a light, 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 medium, medium. Let's see. No, just double medium. I prefer the medium, light, medium after the L3. Get an extra 1 hit of damage in there. Hit him with an L2 with the Fury up, and one of them gets consumed by Masochism. But look at that. Toast. So Doom is really good on this path. Next one up, we got a Sparky, which is I thought was a weird placement here. I brought Corvus this war because I could get some charges, and I had a terrible idea that I could use Corvus on the polka dot power against a Killmonger, and let's just say that did not go well. But regardless, here is a Masochism Sparky, and I've been trying to get him to evade, and he is just not having it. I'm about to run out of charges, and don't get the evade. There's no evade. I'm like, dude, come on, I want the evade charge, and I go in too quick. Luckily, I don't get stunned, and it didn't do too much damage, and I'm just trying to hit into his block right now and be like, come on. There we go. So we get the evade. I'm just gonna L3. I don't have my charges up, so this isn't gonna hit too hard, and then basically I just gotta wait for my charges to come back around. Luckily, you got a long 5-minute timer, so it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, Sparky is gonna go down for sure. Almost back to the charges. So basically, right now the Masochism and the weak hits kind of are canceling each other out. Here I got 1 bar, got my 20 charges, and then we're just gonna wreck this dude. If I can, I'm just trying to stick a parry, make sure I get some good clean hits, and boom, dead. So I got the 2 charges, the tech charge and the evade charge. Now here is an interesting placement. A Karnak, and he's not duped, so you do get the full stun time on your parries. So I got messed up, almost died on a Killmonger on node 4. So here I'm still all boosted. I'm gonna throw on a combat regen boost and heal up just a little bit and get some health back. I'm gonna try to go to an L3 to get some heal. Hopefully try to get to at least 2 full virus charges, infections, and I can't remember if I do or not, but this is just like a weird placement. And Karnak is, I don't think he's any kind of defender that gets an enhancement with stubborn or flow or bulwark or whatever. And yeah, so here we get to an L3. We're gonna throw it. We're gonna heal up a little bit. Ooh, excuse me, I got the yawns. And I think I was gonna try to get back to another L3, but I don't think I make it just because this dude doesn't have enough health and he's just getting eaten away. Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's not gonna make it, so I just hit him with an L2. So I get a little bit of heal for the next fights. I think I had a Havoc fight that was gonna be on the power snack node. Here we have another thing. It's another one that's stubborn. He is not awakened. I had already used my pre-fight against a Human Torch. This is the last war of the season. And yeah, so we've already done this fight once. And the other one was the same. It wasn't an awaken. I think it was also a 6-star, rank 2. But you just, so long as you keep an eye on the rock stacks, then you should be good to go. And if he's willing to throw specials right now, he's kind of holding on to his power bar. But I did trigger on his indestructible, so I got to take that off, and then you just kind of go to town. And at least with my torch, his damage is really awesome. There I hit him with that L2. It did stun him. I was able to get away from that. The unstoppable. And yeah, so we're about halfway through almost. And we're looking good. I think I do end up getting clipped somewhere on this fight. But again, I just think you really got to pay super close attention to those rock stack charges. And if you trigger the indestructible, yeah, so be it. Oh yeah, right there I get clipped. And that actually hurt pretty bad. He had 51 Furies. I'm going to get some health back. I'm going to hit him with an L3, get my Nova Flames, and take him out. Yeah, so we get that Nova Flame going, and which is good that I had him at a low rock stack count, so I could still get some good hits in, get a power sting, and he goes down. And then I think we actually got one more fight, which is, oh yeah, we have a Groot, which is an interesting defensive placement. This guy is a rank 5, something that I don't think I would do anytime in the near future. I got a lot of other cosmics that I would rank 5, but he is a stubborn champion. I have Black Widow Clairvoyant. Excuse me. I had a Terrax on node 4, so this was a really easy choice to bring in Claire to take out Terrax and Groot. And so I trigger indestructible right there, but I think after that, I'm really on my game, and I don't trigger indestructible much at all. His L1 is fairly easy to get away from without having to trigger that dex. And I'm just going to cycle these L2s. And I think at one point I'm going to switch over to Hellfire mode. And he is just going to burn. And, putting on that debuff immunity and nullifying, well, some of them get eaten up by the Masochism, but getting a lot of power back just because I have 3 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion, and boom, full health bar, 100%, and that's it. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next war video.